During the first days of war, members of the Ukrainian Evangelical Theological Seminary, or UETS, hid in basements as the bombs crashed in Kyiv and across Ukraine.
It seemed like the whole world was broken at the moment.
Well, the first days of the invasion, it was an interesting experience for me personally because it was like deja vu. I recall my student days in Croatia during the Balkan War, how we hide in the basements when the bombing and shelling took place.
We experienced right away because we've heard Russian helicopters flying over us probably during the first few hours of the war. And then some combats started a few kilometers from here at the airport.
When the all-clear was given, the UETS staff and students will return above ground to eat, shower, and serve the needy in the community around them. As the Russian military grew closer to the UETS campus, most of the UETS community took the bus to safety in western Ukraine. A few staff and students remained behind to cook for the needy, distribute food, and offer emotional and spiritual care for those in need. Sadly, the UETS campus had been hit by Russian shelling. Multiple buildings were damaged, but thankfully, no one was on campus.
Every building, every classroom means a lot for us because it took so many resources and prayers to build it. So to see all destructions, especially in our library, it was very sad experience.
But ministry continued. Even as the Russian army advanced, UETS staff continued to serve the needy in and around Kyiv, helping people evacuate, giving aid where needed, and spiritual care to anyone who wanted it.
We were not just trying to concentrate on ourselves. We were open to help to those who were outside our campus with the food, with the first necessities, and specifically to the most vulnerable one, like elderly people, young mothers with children who did not manage to evacuate on time, and so forth.
And with the help of modern technology, UETS resumed classes online to teach students. Though scattered through the region, online classes brought them together.
There was very strong request from our students to resume teaching. So we resumed teaching on our full-time programs at the end of March.
Towards the end of March, I received an email from UETS that we were going to be holding our first staff meeting since the invasion. At this time, Kyiv was nearly surrounded. The campus had been shelled. I never would have expected that we'd be spending most of our meeting talking about getting classes started again. But that's what we were talking about.
We realized that it has a very healing impact both for students and staff.
And the ministry continues. In spite of the darkness of war, destruction of their facilities, and the discovery of so many atrocities, the light of the gospel shines through the staff and students of Ukrainian Evangelical Theological Seminary.
Our students and staff have been scattered across Ukraine, and even some are refugees in Europe. What has impressed me so much about our students and staff is that they keep pressing on.
I realized that my ministry is not about exalted talks about God's being, about the Trinity. My ministry is about people's needs.
The experience of war makes everybody talk about life and death, and a lot of people, even us, we experience some life and death experience, which makes talk about God more natural. More people are open to actually discuss why are we living, what are we living for.
The ways that God has used UETS students and staff to impact people for the gospel are immeasurable, and there are many opportunities to expand on the ministry that has already been done. Supporting UETS students through this time of trauma, helping them receive the care they need, and empowering them to finish their education. Providing for UETS staff, supplementing the loss of income, giving them what they need to sustain themselves and their families while they continue to teach and serve the students. Rebuilding the UETS campus. The UETS facility was used to do more than teach students. It provided space for community outreach and served as an important library for theological studies across Eastern Europe. Helping UETS reestablish itself for a future of fruitful ministry, recruiting, training, and sending out new students to provide the kind of holistic ministry that the Ukrainian church needs moving forward.
And I think this whole situation can be used for the gospel, but it actually needs the gospel to be spread, and that people really experience Jesus for who he is and can find in Jesus their healing and their hope amid all what is happening.
I think now Ukrainian nation is open to God more than any time.
I really appreciate all of you who are interested in supporting UETS and have been supporting the school. Please continue to pray. That's probably the biggest thing that is needed, both for God's mercy as well as just for God's provision and enablement that Ukrainians can continue to work and minister and teach and serve as God would have them. And if you'd like to give, there are ways you can give through World Venture that will serve both refugees in general and our school, UETS, Ukrainian Evangelical Theological Seminary in particular. And I believe our schools work both in the classroom and out in the field to wherever people are in need are both vitally important right now.
I believe that God's glory will be shown through every act of every person, no matter who this person is. That's about God occurring in Ukraine right now, and I believe through Ukraine, God will be glorified.
Ukraine will be different, not because of political instrument, but because of the gospel and holistic ministry of the church.